also recording. Music up. It's time for Clubhouse Chatter. Here's Norm Ordez.
That's right. We're back for one more show tonight, and our last and final guest is an Oregon high school football legend. He will otherwise tell you that he's not. But DJ Jackson, former football, baseball star. What else did you play at Jesuit?
Basketball as well.
Yes. I remember you at Jesuit. And
Good time.
Playing for old Ken Potter up there.
Ken Potter, as well as Gene Potter, the brothers.
Yeah.
Were also coaches.
That's right. Who else was on that team with you up at Jesuit? There was Mike Hass.
Mike McGrain, Steven Zoller, Kyle Floberg, Matt Floberg's cousin.
Mm-hmm.
If you remember Matt Floberg from the University of Oregon.
John Daly.
John Daly, you had Kyle Falk, you had Philip Berry. There were some good stars in the Chris Edwards, that free safety. Mike McGrain at quarterback was the catalyst.
God, you guys were loaded.
He knew how to control a game on the basketball court, and you could also see him work on the football court too. Or a football field as well. It was pretty amazing to have a leader, senior leader like Mike McGrain.
Right.
And Luke Hansett too. Luke Hansett, he's like the guy that will come in when you need a foul.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like you need a hard foul. Luke Hansett's that guy. He was our general. That dude played middle linebacker and controlled the defense as well as was a fullback. And I couldn't ask for a better guy to run behind. Alex Ames, another great lineman, center and guard. Scrapper, smaller, but could block anybody in the Metro League.
Wow. So what are you doing these days? You're down in Southern California.
Yeah, Southern California is where I ended up. Basically, sports brought me here. Once again, I was in pursuit of a football career after my time at Western Oregon. So I left after the junior season there. I was already, grade-wise a senior. So I came down to California just trying to see if there were any football teams, the Niners, Raiders, Chargers, or just see if anybody needed a 28-year-old running back. And it wasn't as promising as it was if I was there at 22. However, I did get some good feedback, and some guys really liked my body still. But yeah, at that age, the doctors were like, "Hey, man, you're a little older, and your body's it's changing. So just think about it." So I thought about it really hard, and I felt a couple of hits, and I said, "You know what? Maybe it's time for me to switch gears and move away from football. It's a young man's sport for sure." So that kind of led me to think about baseball, to reconsider revisiting baseball. I left the Dodgers in 2007, and it was definitely a career cut short. It was my choice to leave. I had been asked to play outfield for 5 seasons, and then my final season, they asked me to pitch. They had made some off-season moves, and it landed me up in a tough spot with Matt Kemp hitting quite a few home runs in AA, and Juan Pierre being signed as a free agent. Kind of put me on the back burner. So they tried me out on the mound, told me it was going to be a few years, and tried to put me back in rookie ball. And I definitely I felt privileged to have the opportunity to keep my Dodger uniform, and continue to pursue the major leagues. However, at that point, I just said, to go back to rookie ball after climbing the ranks wasn't in the plan. I gave it about 4 or 5 years, and I knew I wanted to go back to college. So went back to college, and I always told myself to revisit baseball later on in life. And that I did. I came to L.A. and I played in the California Winter League in 2012 and played great. Had some scouts come along and talk to me and ask me did I want to revisit a career in baseball. And so we got into some negotiations, talking about $3,000 a month to go some different places to get the ball back rolling. And once again, different contract stuff, free agents, the market. I did not sign. I elected to stay in LA and meet up with some guys that were doing some baseball lessons and camps and clinics. I ended up coming across a great part of Los Angeles. Great families, great programs, great community, and that's what led me to kind of uproot myself from Oregon and come down to LA. And now I'm in Woodland Hills, Calabasas area, and my mission is just to train baseball and football athletes on all levels, and really stress nutrition and physical training, how to prepare the body and mind to go compete at a high level. So every day I take calls and training guys one-on-one, group, high school team programs. I'm working a lot, real hard along the 101 from about Ventura, California, all the way down to Los Angeles.
Nice. And so DJ Jackson Sport Training is born. And how's that going for you? Do you have quite a few clients?
Oh yeah, the sports training mission, that whole project kicked up about 2 years ago. Some parents asked if I lived in the area and wanted to do some trainings for their kid, and they had a few other friends, and then word of mouth started to spread. And the first week it was a couple people. The first couple months, I got up to about 5 to 10 clients would call me weekly and get training. And now, 24 months later, I serve, I would say, I've ran through a little bit over 500 different clients for different types of training sessions. And I'm serving on any given week 30 to 40 clients. Sometimes I'm serving as many as 200 or 300 a week.
Wow.
Depending on what I have going on for the group training. I just recently finished Thousand Oaks baseball program, a fall speed and agility camp. That was about 80 kids every other day for 2 months. That was probably about the biggest DJ Jackson Sports Training has landed yet, but that was a great gig. A lot of players got a ton better, and they saw amazing results. So, yeah, no marketing. I have a little website, a little bit of Facebook, a little bit of Instagram, but no real marketing, plan in place. It's just word of mouth, and my goal is just to offer the best physical, all-around training and nutrition advice there is, and it's working. So I'm pretty excited about this thing. I think last week I went through about 32 lessons last week.
So you're a busy man.
Yeah. I mean, all day, every day, even on the weekends.
And I follow you on Facebook and Twitter and whatnot, and you're very upbeat. You're very positive. You love doing what you're doing, and so you also came up with Two Hands Pro. Why don't you tell our listeners a little bit about Two Hands Pro?
First off, it's a great gift idea for anybody that knows a baseball player or softball player. So listen up. I mean, this product, it's a defensive training tool. It hit the market about a year ago, and just kind of telling them here and there, just that camp on the website, out of the trunk of my car. And we've done quite a few sales of the product so far. And what it is it's a simple glove insert. You put it inside of any player's glove. It fits any size. It goes inside the glove. The player now goes and practices with this thing. It's a practice training tool. You hit them ground balls, hit them pop flies, or her, work on all the different things that a defensive practice would entail. All the different aspects of footwork, weight, balance, transfer speed, all those things are corrected when you use Two Hands Pro. Because by taking, the point of the product, I should be a little more clear, is to take the ability for the player to close his or her glove away.
Right.
So with the product in, you cannot close the mitt. Now with this flat mitt, or semi-flat mitt, now you're forcing that player to move their feet, put their body in the right position, center up on the ball, to field the ball correctly, to just simply do everything the right way, and then bring that other hand, that throwing hand to secure the catch, and it helps kids speed up the transfer to a throw because the ball is right there. Your hand is already on the ball. So it makes defensive training it's like another world of defensive training. It's so simple and innovative, yet forces the proper technique. And for the price, there's nothing on the market like it. The closest thing is probably the Kate Glove styrofoam pad training tool. If you think of that, it's kind of similar, except you get to use your own. And by using your own mitt, it makes everything smooth. It doesn't seem like there's some foreign object. It just rolls right into to great defensive play, errorless defensive play, and it builds a ton of confidence. Really fun to use. It's on the market right now for $19.95. Comes in many different colors. You can pick your favorite major league team, match the color, a college color, or your own team. And for $19.95, it's like having a major league coach, infielding coach, or defensive coach giving you all the correct tips on how to play the game right from a defensive standpoint. So we're really excited about it. twohandspro.com. You can order one for the player or one for the whole team.
Where did the inspiration come for Two Hands Pro? I mean, how did this all come about?
I was a young player in North Portland. I played at Pier Park Little League in District 1, and I was just one of those kids who loved to play the game, but I didn't come from the resources. I didn't come from a family that had the resources to buy like brand new gloves and the brand new cleats and stuff like that. So coming from, a dad who played ball in the Caribbean, he threw me his glove from high school, like, here, son, here you go. And I was about 10 years old, and I was trying to use this mitt, and it was a good glove. However, it was really floppy. It was, a ball would go in, and a hard hit line drive would go out the other side. So I started putting sticks and different, long objects that could fit in the finger areas of the glove, the finger cavities, and all I was trying to do was give a skeleton, give the glove some foundation, make my glove stiff. And by that, I knew that I couldn't really close my glove with all of these sticks inside my glove, so it automatically forced me to use two hands. Right. So no matter what, for the next 2 or 3 years, I was always using two hands when I caught the ball. When I got to be about 13 or 14, I was much better than every other player in the league, even the kids much older than me. So automatically I started playing with the older kids, and my father, who was an engineer, a mechanical engineer who has a plethora of knowledge on materials, he kept telling me, like, DJ, what are you doing? What are you doing? And I would tell him, I'm just putting stickers. I need this stuff in my glove. And he was my coach for a few years, and he would always tell me to quit putting stuff in my glove. He's like, quit putting stuff in your glove. Take it out. I need you to catch the ball. And I told him that this helps. This really helps me, Dad. And so he took the idea, and him and I sat down, and we kind of thought about it for many, many nights, and we ended up just drawing my hand. And once we drew my hand out, we kind of had an idea of, okay, let's try to get this hand solid, and let's make this hand print solid, and then let's try to shove it in the glove so that the glove doesn't move now. And then we started cutting them out by hand on a tabletop. And eventually it led to a patent and a ton of market research, and eventually it came, to a product that we have today, fully developed, finished, being sold on the retail level, and very excited just about the whole mission. This thing started as a little idea from a 10-year-old and has turned into a product that now major league infielders can use during their defensive practice work. Wow.
And so once again, 1995. I think we were watching the video of your shoot of 2013 on YouTube, and it looks like a great product. And now, has any colleges, are they picking this up?
Yes, actually, Cooper Stiles from University of Oregon. You guys might all know him.
Yep.
Shelton. Cooper loves the Two Hands Pro. He has one in yellow, and he thinks it matches his Duck uniform really well. So Cooper Styles is rocking them in Oregon. There's also another kid, Kalen Flaherty. What's Kalen's last name? Kalen Clardy. He's at Oregon State. He's a middle infielder. He uses it as well. And then as well as I have some other close friends that are close to the California schools, UCLA, USC. Those schools will be contacted very soon by very, very highly respected alumni about this product. So we're really excited about it breaking onto the Division I college level. High schools across the country are already using this product from Southern Florida. There's girls softball program based out of Harlem in New York, ran by Jenny Heimüller. She's rocking the Two Hands Pro out there. It's all over California now. I mean, I've literally flooded the LA area with product. I have a ton of ex-ball players who I played with in the minor leagues. They're selling the product to their networks and their training classes, their programs. This thing's really catching on at a grassroots level. My goal is to implement this product at a grassroots level, not just try to shoot for the top and go get Derek Jeter to sign off this product. I wanted this thing to really show that it makes good ball players. And through the last couple of years, I mean, the places that this product has landed and the players that are using the product, they're just seeing the results at the next level pay out big time. So we'll see. I guarantee this season, we'll see the Pac-12. I just got a shipment of some new Pac-12 colors, so those will be out soon, as well as softball. Softball is another huge market for training products, and girls softball teams in Southern Texas, in the El Paso area, just put in an order, as well as in the Pasadena, Claremont area, and like I said, all along the New York borders, the Floridas. It's really catching on.
Nice. So let's chat about a little bit about your Dodger experience. So, I've worked with the Giants for 8 years, so I'm a Giants fan, but I grew up a Dodger fan. So I'm not your typical Giants fan who hates the Dodgers. There's too much hate in the world, man. But
right.
You got the Yankees, you got the Giants, and you got the Dodgers. There is really no organization like the Dodgers. And, there's a nice picture of you with Tommy Lasorda. Tell us a little bit about your Dodger experience.
Oh, well, it was a great time in my life. I'll always look back on this with a full heart. No matter how long I played or what level I reached, the opportunity to wear a Dodger blue uniform and compete along the sides of some great players and wear the same uniform as some amazing legends such as Jack Brock, Sandy Koufax. I mean, the list goes on. I just felt really blessed to even be considered in that realm or scope of a player. Now, to start it off, the scout that signed me, Hank Jones. He's the Dodgers Northwest scout. He's been around for a long time. He actually came down to watch Jesuit play Beaverton in a basketball game. And not many people know the real story of how the Dodgers ever found me. Thought they found me on a baseball field. Hank Jones, after this basketball game, is when the Dodgers first contacted me, and I promise you, coming out of my senior season, playing against McNary in the semis or quarterfinals. That next Monday, that next week, we had a league basketball game. So I was already time to switch gears. I had a weekend to get rid of football and put basketball in my mind. Well, that first game, Coach Potter, Gene Potter, didn't want to let me play, mainly because I hadn't been enough practices with the team yet. Granted, I was a 3-year letterman on varsity basketball, he knew I knew what was going on. He knew I knew all the plays. I knew our offense. I knew our defense. I knew the calls. I was a team captain. I was a senior. It was my year. Scott Doherty and I and Joey Kemp and those guys. So Gene knew that DJ, put your time in practice. We'll get you on the court when you're ready. Okay, when you've been in a couple weeks. Well, we were losing to Beaverton. If you know the rivalry, that was not okay. So going into the fourth quarter, I had yet to enter the game, and with about 8 or 9 minutes, remember, on the clock left, we're down by, I want to say, 9 points. And at that point, the Jesuit student section had started chanting, put him in, put him in, put him in. And then Gene had, I believe, let the clock down to about 5 minutes before he couldn't stand hearing the crowd chant, DJ. It was crazy. I was on the bench watching the whole time. I was like trying to get my friends to stop and knock it off, but they just kept getting louder and louder. Eventually, we were about to lose the game. Gene Potter looked down the bench and yelled at me and said, "You're in." And I mean, it was like I have goosebumps now. It was like unleashing the beast. I was so full of energy. My heart was so full to represent for my school, for my team, for everybody to believe. We had just got out of football, so like I was already still really ramped up from football, and he cut me loose. And I believe it was Eric Scriven was the point guard for Beaverton, who's now the Jesuit baseball coach. Ironically, he was bringing the ball up half court, and you should give Eric a call and ask him how hard of a time I made it for him for those last 6 possessions to bring the ball up court. And he had actually turned the ball over a few times, went out of bounds, double dribbled. I had a couple steals, and automatically got us back into the game. I think it was an 8-point swing within about a minute and a half, and they were all based off, defensive alignment and just me getting after it on that side of the court, on the pressuring that point guard. And once that happened, we won the game. It was like the fairy tale come true. Everybody rushed the court. But the most exciting part of that night was that this man walked up to me and handed me a card that said Dodgers, and he told me that I was going to be a Dodger. I thought nothing of it, but it sat with me. I held on to this card the rest of the evening. And I went to bed, and I had this card under my pillow, and I was praying about it. I talked to my parents, and I was like, this man gave me this card. And eventually that turned into my senior year, him, drafting me 24th in the 24th round and offering me a contract. And that's where it all started. So getting in there it's kind of like a fairy tale story. I had no idea I was going to be drafted. I was never, a big guy. I never was told I'm going to be a major leaguer. I never knew a major leaguer or a minor leaguer or a coach or anybody who played professional baseball prior. So it was all new to me. And once the draft happened, it became very real.
So now, did you play with Jordan Pratt? Do you remember Jordan?
Yeah, I remember Jordan.
Central guy from Monmouth, yeah.
I remember Jordan Pratt's first day at Dodgertown. He wowed all of the rookies with card tricks and card magic at Dodgertown. Oh yeah.
He's still around. I don't know if I don't think he's playing anymore, but I know he refs some high school basketball games. I haven't seen him in a while, but I know he's still around. At least a couple of years ago.
Playing football at Stanford. He's playing football at Stanford.
Jordan Pratt? Really? Wow.
Yeah, Jordan Pratt. He left the Dodgers and went back to college and ended up enrolling at Stanford and walking onto the football team and trying out. And I think, I don't know what he plays. I'm not sure if he's like a kicker or like a special teams guy, but I know he got some run on the field at Stanford. I mean, he had some pictures and stuff of him online.
That's awesome.
In his uniform. Yeah, so.
And so.
Kept up with him.
Now, you have played with some of the current Dodgers. I mean, you mentioned Matt Kemp.
Yeah.
You played with Kenley Jansen, who was a catcher originally.
Yeah, Kenley was my little brother. Kenley was a 16-year-old. Kenley was a 16-year-old. From Curacao, barely spoke any English, showed up at Dodger Town and asked me if I could take him to the mall to buy a pair of Michael Jordan's shoes. And so, yeah, I took Kenley under my wing at an early age. From when he just got there, and he was a catcher that hit about I don't even know, 200 or 109 or something like that for a couple seasons. But this guy had an arm that, he could throw anybody out off his knees, falling backwards. He was only 15 years old. So he had a really powerful arm, and we all knew that. So to see him, I still communicate with him. I'm in contact with him now. To see him where he's at now, it's a blessing. I'm always at Dodger Stadium, hovering above the left field ticket, like where the guys come in left field, where all the bullpen stuff is at, and the parking lot out in left field. I'm always standing up there, hollering down into the bullpen at Kenley. And he always looks up. Him and I are always chatting, and people are like, "You know that guy?" And it's like, I knew him when he was never a pitcher, So yeah, Kenley's one of my boys. Matt Kemp, another guy. Him and I actually got picked up. We were picked up by the same driver from the Orlando airport. So we sat next to each other in 2000. I think it was 2003 when he showed up. It was 2003. I was coming back for my second season, and yep, sure enough, Matt Kemp's sitting right next to me in the Dodger van on the way back down south. So him and I had definitely a long time, relationship. We were teammates. We were, he hit third, I hit first quite a bit. Coming up, spring training. Let's see, I believe it was Vero Beach. The Vero Beach Dodgers is when we really got on the same team for the first time. I played center. He played left field. I never thought of him as a center fielder. I never knew he was going to ever make that jump. But, the things that happen in the course of a career and with an organization, you never know. So to see him, in LA, having some success, and obviously signing an amazing contract to set him up for the rest of his life, it's a blessing for him, and to know him, and the fact that after the games, he always looks out and tries to say hello to me, and he's really friendly to all my young players. Always very willing to sign an autograph or say hello, or just take a moment out to come, address us and say hi. I'm really proud of that guy. As well as Andre Ethier. Andre Ethier is a good friend of mine. His younger brother here played on my junior college team. So I've had a relationship with the Ethiers before he was in pro ball, when he was at ASU. That's where I was in Arizona as well, at Chandler Gilbert Community College for about 10 months. So I got a chance to link up with the Ethiers, and once he came over from Oakland, I believe, he gave me, once he saw I was there, he just gave me everything that man got. He signed the contract with 3 and 2 to do like all of his batting gloves and gear and shoes. So he would just give me everything he got, and he was like, "Here, D, take this stuff." So Andre's a great man. I really respect him as a person, and he's a very nice, nice human being. Good guy to be around. Clayton Kershaw, I have a little bit of a relationship with. I pitched the year I did pitch. I threw bullpens next to him early in the morning. So I knew Clayton before he was was the man he is now, the machine he is now. I remember when he was 18 trying to figure out how to get the ball over the strike zone. His arm was so tight. He had such a tight arm that he would hit the ball high. He would always throw the ball really high during bullpens, but now obviously he's got it all dialed in. He loosened up that body. The man's having an amazing career. A.J. Ellis, another great friend of mine, spent for a couple seasons hanging out with him in the bullpen, he'd be in the bullpen, and I'd be in center field, and so the bullpen guys always have to play catch up the center fielder to warm us up, the right fielder, and throw us the ball, and we'd throw the ball in to those guys. So I always got a chance to see A.J. and I still get a chance to say hello to him at the games. And some guys that we don't have anymore that I was really close with, like Xavier Paul and Matt Paul. Xavier, I believe, is with Cincinnati now.
Right.
But he was an outfielder with us coming up since 2004. It's another real good friend of mine. He used to actually give us all, Matt Kemp, Kenley Jensen, myself, haircuts. He was the haircut guy. And then who else? Let's see. I mean, James McDonald. James McDonald from the Pirates. Our first day in Dodgertown, James and I were so bored and we were so far from home that we were just walking around Dodgertown talking to our family back at home, which is 3 hours, 3 hour difference. Well, all of a sudden it was like frog mating season or something in spring training, down at the spring training facility. So we played a little prank. We took everybody's ice bucket, all the new guys, their ice buckets, and out of their hotel rooms, and we put a frog, gigantic, like, loud frog inside the ice bucket and slide it under their bed. So in the clubhouse the next morning, we hear all these guys complaining about how they thought there was a frog in their room the whole night. And so James and I got a couple good giggles out, a couple good laughs out of that, man. It was good times with that guy, and we had a great relationship all the way through. He had came to the outfield. He was a pitcher for a while, hurt his elbow, joined the outfield. The Dodgers put him out there to kind of rehab his arm and let him build some arm strength. So I got a chance to play outfield with him in Ogden for a while. And Russell Martin was another great guy, Jonathan Broxton. Those guys would always regularly give me their meal money when we were out at dinner a couple times. Like, those guys threw us young guys $100 to pay for our TGI Fridays at the mall on a Saturday night. Class act dudes. I understand why the Dodgers chose all these men. I lost my first foot race to Trayvon Robinson when he was, I believe he just got signed. He was 18. I was 21. We were both in Dodgertown, and I was feeling a little under the weather. And I told him he was lucky because I was known as the fastest in the camp. But we actually ran a 60, and he beat me by like half a step. And so yeah, Trayvon and I mean, I have a long, good standing relationship with Trayvon as well. I was always friends with a lot of guys. Travis Danker, Jimmy Rowan, James Looney. I used to eat breakfast with him at Dodgertown. Once you're in, baseball is a small community.
Yep.
And when you're with the Dodgers, like, the Dodgers are so tight-knitted, and they treat, all their minor leaguers equal. They treat everybody equal. Everybody's expected to be professional and be able to, communicate and carry themselves on and off the field. So a lot of these guys were just class acts, great men, went on to have great careers. But there's a number, Corey Wade's another guy I was really good friends with. But there's a number of guys who aren't playing anymore, who were just as great of ball players and just as great of men. And, it's great to reconnect with them and just, reminisce about a little bit of the good old days, but as well as just talk about where we're all at now. And the kids and the wives and the marriage and the families, and everybody's life is really changing. So from the time when we were like 21 on the road, talking to girls every time we got a chance after a game, now guys it's real life. So it's a really unique, I guess it's just a unique situation to see everybody come full circle.
What advice do you give to the young kids that you train? What is like a piece of advice that you share all the time?
I tell them this. So if you're going to play sports, play from your heart. You have to play from your heart. If there's one day where you come out and you don't love it, then don't do it. Even on your bad days, you got to love it. You know what I'm saying? You got to understand how to take the good with the bad. It's not all going to be, glitz and glamour. Every day is not a home run and a perfect shutout game and 10 strikeouts. It's not like that. Most of our days will be filled with failure, and understanding how to love the game and accept failure is the number one lesson I think any baseball player should learn at the earliest possible age, because it is real. Like, it is a game of failure, and we will have those days where we're like, oh my goodness, am I really supposed to be here? But if you love playing baseball, you will say, yes, I'm supposed to be here, because tomorrow I'm going to come back and I'm going to do it again. That's the one thing on the field. Off the field, handle your business. You got school, that has to be number one. You have your responsibility to your family, that's number two. Then you have responsibility to yourself, number three. Those are the handling your business off the field like a professional is the only way to stay on the field for as long as you possibly can. So, yeah, those are my pieces of advice, man. I can't put a name on one guy who said those things to me, but every coach I've literally came across has, in one way, shape, or form, said those two things to me my entire life and career.
And I think that's for anybody who's had, played sports in high school and life in general. But I totally agree with you. I mean, I look back at my former teachers and coaches, same thing. It was worded a little bit differently, but in the end, it's all about the same thing. You take care of your business. Right. You don't embarrass. Right. You don't embarrass your family. You don't embarrass your school, and you don't embarrass yourself.
Exactly.
So once again, DJ Jackson, go ahead and plug your website one more time for us.
Everybody go check out twohandspro.com. It's the newest defensive training tool on the market, guaranteed to make any player a better defender without a doubt almost instantly. And go check me out on djjacksonsportstraining.com. You can follow my whole program, see what I'm doing, pick up some great information. I leave a ton of good information on there, as well as find out where and when I am holding training sessions, and you can get yourself signed up to experience some of what I got going on.
So from a DJ Jackson fan, I've always been a fan of yours ever since your Jesuit days, and I appreciate you coming on the show. And dude, let's do it again, man.
Norm, I appreciate your time and you reaching out and wanting to give the world a view of where I'm at now and what's going on, and kind of touch on the past. It's always great to catch up with old friends and talk about the great things that we've done, but also the great things that we're doing in the future. Definitely support your show and your movement, and let's just do our part to keep helping these young players get better and keep helping these teachers teach better.
Absolutely. All right, man. Well, hey, thank you very much for coming on, and I'll be in touch. I got a couple of ideas. I'll run them past you here sometime soon. And once again, thank you very much.
Thanks, Norm. You guys have a great one.
Appreciate All right, you too, DJ. Thank you.
All right, man. Take care. Go Dodgers.
All right, go Dodgers. Once again, DJ Jackson, Two Hand Pros. Check him out. I got to get Nate Fish over there in Israel. I got to get him in touch with this guy.
There you go.
And get some Two Hand Pros over in the hands of some of those Israeli kids. And so we are sponsored by Base by Pros, Mitch Canham, basebypros.com. His dad, Mark Canham, MDM Designs, does our shirts. And check him out. We also are sponsored by baseballisms.com. Go to their website, check it out. They got a Black Friday deal going on, baseballism.com. Baseball Dudes, Chris Gazelle up there in Vancouver, Washington. Baseball Dudes, to be the best, you must train like the best. BaseballDudes.com. Proper Cuts Barbershop, that's where I get my hair cut. Go see Carlos and the boys. They might give you $2 off. They might laugh at you. I don't know. Depends on the day. And we're always streaming live at yamhilltoday.com. Brian Erickson, producer Brian Erickson, yamhilltoday.com. Follow us. We're on Facebook, Clubhouse Chatter with Norm. We're on YouTube, Clubhouse Chatter. Email is clubhousechatter18@gmail.com. And we're on Twitter, Clubhouse C Hater I couldn't fit the other T in there. So check us out. I'm Norm. That's producer Brian. I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. We'll be back next Sunday for some more shows. Have a good week.